Oops. Hello, I'm realtor Michelle Leonard, and I'm here today with attorney Mindy Previtera. Good to see you, Mindy.
Good to see you, Michelle. Thank you so much for talking to me on this really important issue.
So, Mindy specializes in divorce law, amongst a few other things. So, Mindy, why don't you start out to talk about action plans when people are starting to think about getting divorced? Because there's a lot to think about.
Thank you, Michelle. So, one of the most important things when you're even thinking about getting a divorce is having a strategy or action plan. And our firm talks a lot about goal setting. I think one of the most important things when going through a lifestyle reset, like a divorce, is thinking about your living situation. I always say, think of it going back to sort of your basic needs: money, living, stability, and love. So, real estate is really a big part of planning your future. And the first thing you have to think about is, do I want to stay in the house I'm currently living in? Or do I want to make my own house, create my own house, get my own real estate investment for the future, which is normally what I recommend depending on the circumstances.
So, if somebody went and bought a house and they're still married, are there certain steps they need to take concerning the owning of that real estate?
This is such an important question. There's so much misinformation around this. So I'm glad you asked it. So when you're separated, oftentimes once that date happens where you've either filed a divorce complaint or you've put in writing that you're separated, anything after that date is separate property. So when we talk about buying real estate, oftentimes the divorce process can take years. And so people want to get their new life set up faster than, 2 or 3 years from now. So the answer is yes, you can, once you're separated or after the divorce is filed, create your own path with real estate that is yours and it's in your name alone. And it's oftentimes going to be just your sole and separate property after the divorce.
So, how does, and I guess it varies from person to person, if they're on the mortgage for the current house, that potentially can have a negative effect on their purchasing power. How do you handle that?
So it really depends on the financial situation of the parties, which is why the first thing we do is strategize what works. So there's different ways you can handle it. One way is going to be basically selling the house to get the name off of the mortgage, and then both parties kind of have that economic boost to decide what they want to do with their next step. If one party isn't willing to sell the house, then we can do a lot of legal language and agreements where you can indemnify one party from financial responsibility on the mortgage. The best course of action, though, is going to be a refinancing of the mortgage to remove the other party's names. And so often we'll try to get that process started as soon as possible because, Michelle, you're absolutely right. It's going to oftentimes hold people back from, getting a mortgage depending on the situation. And of course, there's tactics and way to work around it. But this is all the important conversations you want to start having at the beginning of your case.
Right, which is why it really is so important that people find someone like you to help guide them through that process because they could really make some decisions that have negative effects on them going forward.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, from working in this industry for years, how, you'll give advice, don't move large sums of money, don't do anything that might jeopardize your chances of getting a mortgage. And what people don't know, they don't know. So the first place to start when you're thinking about buying real estate, having a relationship reset or going through a divorce, or even if you never want to get married, but you want to buy a house with a significant other, it's talking to the right people. It's talking to people like you, like I, who are industry leaders and really have the expertise to guide our clients.
So how would people reach you?
So I am on Instagram, and you can find me on my website. It's Mindy Previtera at Petrelli Previtera. My email or our website is www.petrellilaw.com. Or you can find me on Instagram. My handle is at Lawyering for Love, because I'm actually,
that.
thank you. I'm a divorce attorney who believes in love. So, at the end of the day, it's all about living your best life. And I think part of that is building a future that aligns with who you want to be, which is why investing in real estate as well can be such a great building block to achieving that goal.
Okay. Do you want to give them a phone number to call your office?
Thank you. You can reach me at 215-523-6900. We are based right on Rittenhouse Square, but we service pretty much all of Pennsylvania and New Jersey.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you,
Bye.
Michelle. Thank you.